it is the PlayStation's 30th anniversary. It was actually on the 9th of September. Now, it always depends on which region you're from when your 30th anniversary with PlayStation was, but the 9th of September was the North American one, so there's a bit of more conversation doing the rounds with that. PlayStation have put out this 30th anniversary hashtag. They want people to share different memories in regards to the system, and I'll talk about them in a bit. But if we're talking about a little bit of trivia, then Alinea Analytics have put out the list of best-selling PlayStation 1 games, which, as far as I know, haven't been this detailed. You know, Sony are always quite tight-lipped when it comes to first-party sales. And maybe this information has been, different bits of it will have been freely available from different sources over the years. However, it's worth noting that we have a top 20 best-selling games on the PlayStation 1. Going from 1 through to 20, and you can try and guess this, the number 1 best-selling PlayStation 1 game for that entire console's run was Gran Turismo 2. I did not see that coming at all. I thought it would be Crash 3, Metal Gear Solid, whatever. So counting from 1 to 20, we have Gran Turismo 2 at number 1. Then we have Crash Bandicoot 2, Cortex Strikes Back at number 2. Gran Turismo's in at number 3. Crash Bandicoot 3 is at number 4. The Jam Pack series for PlayStation is at number 5, which I assume is some sort of bundle deal thing. We definitely didn't have that in the UK, or if we did, I just missed out. Number 6 is the 1997 version of Frogger. Who the hell was buying a PS1 to play Frogger? Was it you? It wasn't me. Number 7, Spyro the Dragon. Number 8, Crash Bandicoot, which is interesting. The original Spyro above the original Crash. That's fascinating. We also have number 9, Tekken 3. Which is my favorite PS1 game of all time. Like, I find Tekken 3 to be absolutely immortal. I can go back to that thing any day of the week with a smile on my face. I have a copy of it on my phone legally, which isn't true, and it's a nice place to be. So yes, number 7, Spyro the Dragon. Number 8, Crash Bandicoot. Number 9, Tekken 3. Number 10, Driver. Number 11, Final Fantasy 7. Which, again, crazy that the original Driver and that tutorial level beat Final Fantasy 7. But I guess speaks to the viability or the popularity of driving games versus JRPGs, especially for the time. Number 12, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Number 13, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Number 14, Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear coming in below the Tony Hawk's games. Again, fascinating. You think about how iconic Metal Gear Solid is and how much it's always put right alongside, PS1 ephemera wallpapers, things like that. Like Metal Gear Solid and PS1, I feel go together, like Nutella and peanut butter, which is a good thing. And so it's a bit of a shock to see it so low on the list. Number 15, the Namco Museum Volume 3. Number 16, Crash Team Racing. My beloved Crash Team Racing. The finest kart racing game ever made, I might say. Number 17, WWE Warzone. Number 18, Driver 2. Number 19, Final Fantasy 8. And number 20, Ripto's Rage. Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage. A fantastic rundown for a particular console to be able to have. And so many fun memories. With Sony asking for PlayStation memories, I obviously have millions, there's so many, to be honest. Like talking about, the PS1, I was given my PS1, I was able to play the first PlayStation sitting in my mum's office. She used to always work weekends, and I have to go in with her when I was too young to be in the house by myself, 6, 7, 8 years old, whatever it was. And I would go into this office, and I would take all my little pens and my books, and I would, try and play. I had my Game Boy back then too. And one of her workmates, came in one day and was like, "Oh, is your son just killing time essentially?" And she was, "Oh, I've got this thing for him, this box for him." And my mum was like, "Okay," and she set it up. This co-worker set it up in the conference room for the office. So I had this massive conference room, big old long table, all the chairs on both sides, and a TV at the bottom. And she set up the PS1 on there with Croc Legend of the Gobos and the first Ridge Racer as well. And so when I would go in on those weekends back in 95, 96, whatever, I guess the console was only out in 97 or whatever. Still, it was that original period where her son wasn't bothered about the PS1, so she brought it in on the weekends for me. And I would just sit in this big conference room with the TV in the corner. Because back then, it's not like they had a big TV either. It was like this small little 4:3 ratio thing. With, playing Croc Legend of the Gobos and Ridge Racer and a couple of demo discs that I'd picked up from the official PlayStation mag, just having my mind blown by 3D graphics. And there was a racing game back then as well that I've never been able to find again. It was on a PlayStation demo disc. It was a racing game. It was quite anarchic. It wasn't Destruction Derby. It was a lot more over the top. And that's kind of all I remember about it. I remember thinking that it was intense and quite potentially bloody and visceral. But I don't remember much more than that. So if people know what that game was, it would have been from the sort of, mid to late 90s on the PS1. I'm very curious what that game is. But yeah, man, that's my original PlayStation memory. That was my introduction to PlayStation, which was just like, mind blowing. You go from Game Boy Color to the PlayStation 1, and it was absolutely outstanding. But yeah, man, 30 years. I'm 36, so it's being introduced to PlayStation as soon as possible was a big old deal. I also remember looking at the initial screenshots for the first Metal Gear Solid and then going to pick that up and just having my mind blown yet again with what video games could even be. Like, what a great time to grow up, what a great time to be alive.